Man, I am eager to see what you think of this one today, especially considering there are so many people who will watch these videos and comment on, I feel like these things are built flimsy or cheap. That is absolutely not the case here. This is one of the sturdiest, strongest things I've seen in a long time. It's also not the least expensive and one of the heavier trailers for its size. 8,255 pounds for something this size. It is not lightweight. I am not going to call this a half-ton towable. I'll be really curious to see what the comments look like rolling in on this one, and I really want your feedback as we go through our very first Arctic Fox North Fork. Hey everybody, Josh the RV Nerd here with Bish's RV, today with the North Fork 28F from Arctic Fox, Northwood. This is a really high-class RV that is really built from the ground up, on paper very similarly to what you might see some other things out there on paper, but they do a couple things here that not everybody does. Like, for instance, if you've been worried about some of the reports lately where people have had various chassis issues, well, they don't use the same chassis as everyone else. They're one of the very few. They build their own chassis in-house. They actually build a lot of their own stuff in-house. I think they build their own roof trusses in-house so that they can control their own quality on things to just a greater degree. So there's less finger pointing, so there's more accountability, so they have to do it right because they can't blame it on somebody else, you know? Again, it is not lightweight, but it is heavy duty, and it also comes with a very impressive insulation package. Northwood RVs are very well respected in that regard. They're also really well known for having surprisingly large holding tank capacities as compared to the marketplace as a whole, and that's what you're going to get on one of these. Now, this is their more upscale, prettier looking series right here as compared to the Nash, which is like very rugged and doesn't look ugly, but it doesn't look this jazzed up, as it were. That's kind of the thing here, is this is a little bit more of the glitz and the glitter in the Northwood family. They do some things too, like not just bigger holding tanks, like bigger water heaters on these. So if you want to take a couple back-to-back showers while someone's using some hot water in the kitchen, there's some cool things they can do there. The bed in this, not only is it true queen, it's a double pillow top that doesn't suck. This is one of the very few RVs that I think a lot of people might purchase and not have to spend extra money replacing a mattress, which is just mind-boggling by today's RV standards if you think about it. It's got a very basic solar battery tender. There's expansion packages up there, camp kitchen, lot to cover. Let's get going. And this is kind of interesting. This is a floor plan that you don't see in the marketplace a lot anymore. It seems to be something people either love it or hate it. And I think the reason it's not more popular is because in our culture, in our society, we tend to associate size with value. So you see another trailer this same length and you go, why is this Northwood so much heavier and more expensive? There's a couple reasons for it. Things like the second slide over here, that is a huge factor. It takes a lot of extra structure and engineering to add an extra slide, a second slide into something. And that requires a lot of weight. That requires a lot of cost. So this is not the lightest, least expensive little trailer. I'm going to say, again, I don't really consider this one half-ton towable as a result. I don't think your average half-ton is well suited for this. I know that technically speaking, yes, there are some half-ton pickups that have the capacities on paper to haul this one around. I wouldn't personally do it. Now, if you're more experienced, if you've got a beefier truck, that's fine. I'm not saying you're dumb for doing it. I'm just saying the average half-ton, maybe not well suited. But, you know, it's interesting because the physical structure, like when you read how a Nash and an Arctic Fox are put together, they're super similar. But when you see them side by side, the differences are obvious. This is definitely another level up and above. Like the way that we're getting the solid surface kitchen countertops instead of the laminate. Although you do still have thermal foil counters like on your dining and stuff. We've got a very nice, super comfy heat massage theater seat kind of situation going on. We'll see that opened up in a minute. This is a full super slide model. It's one of the bigger ones. Like the thing is that this company doesn't make like 90-foot trailers like some of these places do, you know. But everything they make is just really solid, really a cut above. You see that vaulted ceiling giving us a lot of extra headroom. And I want to address something real quick. You're noticing how this charge controller over here is blinking like something's wrong. Like
self-destruct sequence activated, Doctor.
Like it's not like the evil villain's lair that's gonna blow up. It's saying that there's not a battery on this unit because it has a basic battery tending solar package, but not a factory battery. Those are all things that we can help assist you with. Monster skylight above the sea. I'm sorry. I've just panned around this trailer 2 or 3 times. I don't even know where to begin. Let's just start with the slide and start working our way around, because I mean, there's a lot to cover in here. Kind of like my forehead. There's a lot to cover. And what you're gonna see is that in like any area of this RV, if like anything could be done, instead of doing 1 or 2 things, they did 3 or 4. Like they're still giving us storage over the sofa that most manufacturers don't. It does mean that 1 or 2 of those windows are a little smaller, but over your dining, they do maximize those, which is kind of nice. And more storage is always better than less. And speaking of that, look what's going on with this. I think it's got more of a love seat, you know, with like a theater recline function, but it's large enough. It's like very, well, first of all, Mr. Richard Vale, a regular viewer, will know that this is cuddle compliant. But look at this center console, just pure storage. In case you're wondering what that thing is that I have kind of holding the center console open, it's one of the 2 little swivel side stand things that comes included with this. Now, the dinette, you don't have to tear apart to get to the storage, but what's cool is this is half storage inside, half storage outside. That is what is commonly referred to in the industry as a dream dinette. It can fold up and down a little more easily with that little gas strut. You don't have to take it off and on. But I really I want you to realize something here. Like, you see how there's a household power outlet in the outside wall of that slide. The reason I really want to stress that is the best example, I think, the biggest area of proof of how this is built thicker, how this has thicker sidewalls than your common 1.5-inch walls that you find on most travel trailers and even a lot of fifth wheels. Because you can't put a household outlet in the wall like that without surface mounting it and framing it out somehow, unless you have an extra thick wall. This also has an extra large 22-inch oven, and on top of that, it also, I'm tripping over a drawer. Oh, that hurt the toes. I'm not wearing my boots. That went straight into the big toenail. Oh, brother, that hurt. I do my own stunts. Anyway, risking life and limb and toenail here for you, ladies and gentlemen. I was getting at bigger normal oven and a big convection microwave. And then you start seeing how much kitchen storage is in this thing. It is redonkulous. And anyone who's watching the captions on this, I am really curious to know, how does YouTube's little like caption creator, how does it spell redonkulous? I am very curious. But remember, I said they didn't waste anything. So you've got this big island that it's large enough it can be asymmetrical and still give you countertop space on either side, even when the sink is being used both basins. And notice, instead of a farm sink or a double sink, they gave you both. It's like a 1.5 sink. I think that's the exact same sink fixture that Montana uses in their big luxury fifth wheels. Trash can, place for that included. So I don't even get the opportunity to complain about having a full shelf under the sink where a trash can could go, because they already put a trash can in it. You've got little island side, that sounds a little tropical and Caribbean, doesn't it? Island side pantries, and you've actually got one on either side of the island. Now, a couple other things here. You can see where I said there's that dedicated counter space. You've got outlets nearby, and you've got a dedicated dimmer switch to our kitchen lighting here, which is you can, if I do it a little faster, you can actually discern that happening. Oh, what is that switch? Kitchen light number 2. There's just, oh, holy cow. There's just a lot here. And notice even the detail, the toe kick on the island, so you can really belly right up to the bar. This is well executed. We are probably about to lose a couple of you when we go into that bathroom. Why do I say that? Short answer is the shower. Now, for the right price, I will include my shoes with this camper that are currently acting as a doorstop. These towel hooks, don't they sort of look like back scratchers? Actually, if you're tall enough, you kind of could use them as back scratchers, though you lose your balance, you might jab yourself a little hard with those. So let's get the scary bad news out of the way first. I said I might lose some of you with the shower. It is a little classic style angled corner shower. Now, I have room to stand in that with that big, like, extra tall vaulted ceiling. I can stand in there, and I have room to get one elbow up at a time, but not really both. And I want to point that kind of stuff out. I always want to be fair and candid. I want to be very truthful. Like, I really don't like the location of that floor vent right there, but with floor vented heating, it runs between the studs in this 5/8 tongue and groove plywood floor. They can't just move the vents wherever they want because the studs are in the way. So they don't really have a choice to move it in a lot of other places. I think I would kind of prefer it over here right next to the door. And they go with floor vented heating because, again, this is a brand that is very well respected for their cold camp capacity. And floor vented heating is a more effective system for that kind of solution, that kind of camping. Up top, and anywhere that you see a ceiling vent fan in one of these, you're going to get one of the big fans. Something else that's awful big in here is not just my forehead, now a 5 head thanks to male pattern baldness, but the storage in here is nuts. And a good example of that is not just this big chunk of extra cabinet space here that you're getting above the outdoor camp kitchen, which is what's below that, but the fact that in order to get you this camera angle, I had to stuff myself inside of a whole nother closet. You can kind of see my knee sticking out a little bit there. Now, just to give you an idea how much legroom there is around this thing, a little picture of myself on the pot, hashtag toilet selfie champion, thank you. And there's my other knee in the bottom of the frame. Just, I feel like, you know, I don't want to flash one without the other. I feel like we'd be left unbalanced. Now, what's kind of cool about this is a bonus closet. This is extra wardrobe space. There's a hanging rack up in there. It's easy to miss, so I wanted to zoom in a little bit, take a look at that for you. Something else, though, you have to see one of these in person because, like, when you start opening everything, when you look at the thickness of this, look at where the face of the drawer mounts in. Look at how they're just, everything in this is thicker, better. Everything is +1 versus industry standard somehow, in some way. Now with the opposing slides, it gives you some nice open living space here. What's also helping the perception of that is this gigantic skylight over here. But in case you don't want to feel like an ant in a magnifying glass, you might notice on the left, there is a privacy shade for that. Your central air, by the way, every single vent can turn and close individually. Plus you have a cold air dump if you just want to freeze out the living room when you first get to your destination. Now, a lot of people are going to look at this and say, that is stupid. Why is this a 90-degree neck wrecker entertainment center? And I am not going to sit here and tell you it is the best entertainment center, but it's not as bad as it looks. And to really help illustrate and demonstrate that, I'm actually going to park myself over here at the theater seat that we saw earlier, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a before and after. So if you're, I'm on the right-hand theater seat, so this is definitely the better angle of the two. And yes, my neck is certainly turned a little bit. The TV is on a double-jointed swing arm and a swivel mount. So you can watch it here from the living room. You can turn it toward the kitchen, the dinette, the theater seat. And if I slide to the left instead of slide to the right, and I freeze, you realize you can hear everybody on The Price is Right clap their hands. So such a stupid inside joke. Anyway, sorry. But the left-hand theater seat, I think, is actually the better of the two. I think this has less neck crank, which really, really surprised me. Now, something else that's interesting is that little pocket, that door right there, feeds into the bedroom as well, which I thought was a little interesting. Now, speaking of the bedroom, the little brother to this, the Nash, uses a Camp Queen, but they use the same double pillow top mattress that you're looking at here. And this bed doesn't suck. I don't know how else to say it. That is not a bad setup. However, these are a true queen. So the full like Arctic Fox, the North Fork that we're in right here. This is a 60 by 80 true queen bed. Now, to my knowledge, they have no allowances for king beds. And what's funny is some of the hang tags, like that hang tag over there, says pleated cloth shades. No, it's not. Those are night roller shades, and that is the same thing that you find through the entire RV. And if you notice, there's a little sticker at the bottom. These are dual pane windows. Now, there's a tiny R value gain there, but there's a huge sound deadening. When my mouth isn't running, it is shockingly quiet in here by comparison. And remember, anywhere you get those fans, you get the big fan. So if you're going to be camping off grid, you don't have full air conditioner, or you just want to get some fresh air rolling through, you can do that. And look at the big cabinetry surrounding that true queen bed there. Notice on the right-hand side, they go with a full hanging closet, whereas over here, they go with like an open CPAP side stand. Or if you're a little bit claustrophobic, you can choose which side of the bed you're going to sleep on. And up in here, first of all, little laundry chute. And this is also a really good area. Look at how thick this is. This whole bed deck, this whole bed platform, it's not just a thin sheet of Luan or whatever that has a little skeletal structure. It's a thick chunk of wood. Nothing in this is just thin, flimsy wallboard. That's why this thing weighs almost 8,300 pounds empty, guys. So you can leave a laundry basket down in there. That's your side compartment door. So when you get back home, open the door, grab the clothes, and during the day, yesterday's clothes are out of the way. Then we'll finish the rest of it off here. Now, it's interesting to me they put a hanging rack in there because that is short. By the time you put a coat hanger on something, you better be a toddler if you plan on hanging clothes up in there. But it doesn't matter because you have a full-length hanging closet over here. And remember, in the bathroom, you also have that whole giant, like extra wardrobe cabinet. Now, this is interesting to me. They put all of the household and USB plugs up here in the headboard, which I think is actually kind of cool. You don't see it a lot. Thankfully, behind that, because that is sunk into the nose cap, they do insulate behind that, because otherwise that'd be a giant thermal hole in the wall. But if you're laying there, then this is what you see right here. Notice the light switches for the living room. It's in an interesting out-of-the-way position. They're easy to access, though. So again, that's the TV can spin around. You see the little pass-through hutch there. And if I slowly look you straight up, there's a couple things I want you to see. Once again, you've got that nice big vent fan in here. But I realized as I was laying down, we had a straight-on look at just how thick the cabinet doors are in this thing. I'm telling you, everything... It's thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. I can't believe I said that. Anyway, here's road mode. Now, unfortunately, this one does have one significant Achilles heel, and that is the road mode functionality of this. With the opposing slides and the island in a small space like this, just ain't a whole lot of room to do too much of nothing, you know, Martha? But if I get my big fat head out of the way for a second, let you take a look at it, you can actually see what you have to work with here. And again, not much. But that being said, remember, this is just a shallow kitchen slide. And logically, those steps actually stick out further than the kitchen slide. So if you can open those steps, then you can open this kitchen slide and actually have some decent travel function. Here's what I mean. So if we leave the living room slide retracted, like we've done, like I said, if you look at this, the kitchen slide does not stick out further, and I'm trying to go slow. I don't want to make you like roller coaster motion sick. It doesn't stick out further than the steps. So if you can put those steps down, you can open the kitchen slide, you can make a travel stop. You just got to kind of plan ahead. Is it ideal? Is it perfect? No, but it's an idea. It's an option. And by the way, did you notice how the lights looked like they were flickering earlier, but now they're not? That was just the way this camera is trying to process the light since I had the outside door open versus inside. There's nothing goofy or stupid with the electrical system. I just wanted to make sure you could see that for yourself. And just the whole front of this thing has such a solid look. And something that I don't know is translating very well to video. When we walk around the side, right about now, you'll see how the nose cap actually wraps around the sidewalls. Do you see how there's no forward-facing seams on this? That is a huge area of leak prevention that they have built into this RV, the way that it's been engineered here. Also, that light gray base on that big giant nose cap, that is effectively like your stone guard. It's like a whole spray-on truck bed liner. Let me actually get you up here out of the glare and you can see it right there. There's that texture as the camera zooms in. So you've got a massive stone guard on this thing. Now, up on the roof, there's a 45-watt simple basic ZAMP battery tender. It's also prepped for a side solar portable panel, and you can get it with the off the grid package if you want to add some expanded capacity with an additional 175-watt panel. You know, if you're going to spend a little bit more time away from the park hookups, which I'm enjoying right now, keeping all the lights running. Now, this is one of their models that is actually not generator prepped from the factory, but it does have a full pass-through, so it's a give and a get. One of the things that they like here, that I like rather, is their easy reach battery disconnect. It's in out of the weather. I would prefer to actually be like up there, so it's away from shifting cargo, but it is kind of tucked around the corner where it is somewhat protected, I suppose. And this is the kind of stuff like the drawers, the cabinet hardware. When you see one of these, grab this baggage door. The whole, it's full thickness, you know? It's thicker, and that's going to help keep under the headboard area of your bed more evenly insulated. You see the slam latches right there with protected hinges, the magnet holdbacks, all kinds of good stuff. But one of the concerns I think some people might have with this camper right here is the fact that you have the awning, or rather you have a awning over the kitchen slide. I was going to say a kitchen slide under the awning, and then I mixed the two together, and what came out of my mouth was derp. Well, derpy diddly dee kind of nonsense aside, this is the extra kind of effort that I like to go to for folks. Instead of me saying, well, I think there's still some good awning room, I like to, whenever I have the chance, actually open it up, show you, let you see it for yourself. Is it as much as it could be? No. Do I personally feel there's still plenty of awning space over there? I do. But that's my opinion, and I'm not the one buying it. You might be. It's your opinion that matters more because it's your money on the line, if that makes any sense. Now, normally, I prefer awning lights at the base of the awning. Now, they do have an awning, or well, I guess kind of, an awning light directly above the door there so you can see. This is a model where they put the lights in the awning over here. Normally, I'm not a fan of that because they're not quite as bright, but at least you still get to utilize them, because if the awning lights were directly at the base of the awning, you would lose them under, or, well, yeah, over that kitchen slide right there. So I like what they did here. I think they did the best they could with what they had. Goodyear endurance radials on this. I do believe you can get their off the grid package, and if you know, you're down with OTG, yeah, you know me, you can get yourself some big knobby tires. They look really cool. The joke I always like to make is, yeah, they help the camper not spin out in the mud. Let me back up a little bit. One other cool thing, and I do apologize, sir, I have forgotten your name, but we have a viewer who very regularly comments how much he dislikes when the awning arm is right next to the entry door. Because, and he's totally correct about this, this is not a criticism, when you're right next to an awning arm, if it's raining or something, you're gonna get constantly spritzed in the face, so it hits you in the door every time you go in and out. Well, you don't have that problem here. So, you know, remember, you have those opposing slides giving you nice rainy day living space, but you can also still kind of utilize your awning. The awning doesn't go over the camp kitchen, but the camp kitchen does have a big door that is nice and tall. As you see, I've got some pretty decent headroom under that thing. Now, if I try to jump, you know, like Van Halen would say, go ahead and jump, I'm definitely gonna whack my head on this thing. So don't do that. Don't do any double Dutch routines under this. But I mean, for what appears to be a modest camp kitchen, it's actually impressively well outfitted. Now, I do also want to clarify, this really cool grill that you have over here, that is a non-standard piece of equipment. That's not just like an aftermarket thing from the shop that I went and grabbed. That is an option you can get from Northwood on this camper right here, but it makes a lot of sense with this trailer. I don't know, my 2 cents anyway. But outside drawer space, a real sink with a drain that goes into a holding tank, not the dog dish where you're just, you know, flipping water on the ground, which you're not always supposed to do in a lot of places. There's a lot of really good things going on with this, I think. Of course, you have a gas grill quick connect down below that outdoor kitchen. Or, as many of you know it, I have my own special names for things. What is it called when the gas grill quick connect comes off the side of the RV and not the back? Leave me a comment. Let's see if you've been paying attention. Ooh, I love that. Look at the diamond plate covering on that rear bumper. I don't know if that's really enhancing the function of the RV, but it does look really cool. It looks rugged, and I mean, logically, I don't see how that's really going to get scuffed up and rusted and corroded, so that's a bonus for sure. But take a look at the backside of this RV here. This is the extra time and attention I want to give this thing. First of all, you look over here, like normally these are like manual jacks, but you notice there's actually these little power jack upfits that can be applied to those. Black tank flush, and notice I like how that's mounted down here in the skirt. That's very interesting. A good light so you can actually see what you're doing when you're over here by the stinky slinky hookup station. Notice the little mud flaps down there so you're not flinging rocks and cracking your stuff constantly. This is kind of the classic knuckle buster power cord feed, but if you notice, it's a very large compartment given the size of the cord right there, so it doesn't fight you too awful much. I don't know, I thought it was kind of cool. Something else, I meant to have this open and I forgot because I'm not used to manufacturers taking the extra time and effort. Dinette storage from inside or out, that's nice. And in point of clarity, it's actually inside and out, because if you notice, you still have drawers on the inside. They leave intentionally a little bit of space over here for the, you know, like outside rear compartment. Now you keep seeing the stickers all over the place. Aluminum superstructure. Well, if you ever got to see one of these with the skin peeled away, ooh, look at those frameless windows. That is, those always have such a good look to them, you know. But what I'm saying is if you saw this thing with the skin peeled away, and part of the skeletal structure exposed, what you would actually see is anywhere there's a screw into that aluminum, they stuff it with wood so that the threads of that screw always have something to bite into. Basically, so the air guns that they use in the factories don't crush that aluminum tubing so that everything stays square the way it's supposed to be. If it stays square, then everything fits better. If it fits better, it's less likely to leak, you're less likely to have problems, and you're more likely to have a better experience. Now, up here on the roof, they're doing something I complain about all the time, but they're doing it in a way that I'm not going to complain about. They are using white shrouds on the air conditioner, which just help it operate more effectively. Holy crap! Holy crap! Sorry. Wow! It's not every day you get just a giant skylight in an RV. Look at the thickness of this roof! Holy crap! No wonder these things do so well in their heating and cooling testing. Sorry, I hope I didn't shout that, but oh my gosh, that is like luxury fifth wheel roof thickness and treatment. Jeez. Sorry, it's not every day you're just on top of a travel trailer and you see a roof that's as thick as my skull. Okay, sorry, I gotta refocus myself here. Anyway, take a look at the way that they have the slide sealed. This is very cool. So a lot of travel trailers, you see me say, look at this, it's got double wiper seals and a bulb. This has double bulbs and double wipers. You see that extra bulb seal at the top of the slide right there? Like right where the white part becomes black. There's an extra bulb seal right there. That is there to help prevent ice creep and ice damming and water sneaking into the RV when you see a freeze and a thaw and a freeze and a thaw. That's the extra little details that go into these. You know, when you just read a brochure, the one doesn't look much more impressive than the other. It's a big difference. So, but we're still not, look at all the crap on this roof we get to talk about. That is your base standard 45 watt battery tending solar package. It's not a monster solar package. They have a 175 watt expansion available with their OTG package off the grid. Also, all the power vent fans that you've seen, they are prepped and ready for roof vent covers. You see those little ears sticking up so you don't have to screw stuff into your roof and worry about screwing up your warranty or creating a leak point. And how about that classic little, like, cargo rack right there. You just don't see that every day anymore. That being said, be real cool, be real careful. Adding a lot of heavy stuff up here, torquing it down. Make sure you're not putting sharp things on your roof that could cause scuffing and cut points, basically. A little pro tip for you from your Uncle Josh. So if you ask me, this camper was cool as a fox. I bet you thought I was going to say something else, didn't you? Anyway, maybe the more millennial types or something might. I'm not sure how well that joke landed across the viewer base. But let me know what you think about this. So I've done a couple Northwoods now. I'd love to hear your feedback, what you think about them, where you think they shine, where you think they fall short, where you think they could improve, and where you think they're killing it. Let me know. And I'll leave you a link in the video description where you can always check for pricing and availability to see where we have one of these, how much we're asking. And remember, we can always transfer product from store to store. So if you live near one of our dealerships that doesn't have these in stock, we can always get you one sent to that facility. And until next time, take care, stay safe, have fun, and best wishes from Bishes, everyone.